Apparently, Swedish people do not share their food. So basically in Sweden, they have this cultural practice where if, let's say, a friend has, or let's say a child has a friend over, so, you know, they're basically having like a play date. So you bring them over to your house, and they're hanging out, and it's time for dinner. Well, the friend does not eat dinner with the family. The friend must wait in another room while they eat or bring their own food, essentially. Yeah, that to me is crazy. There's basically how this plays out, right? Is you'll be hanging out playing in your room, and then your mom will be like, "Okay, it's time for dinner." So then you tell your friend, or your friend tells you, "Okay, I gotta go downstairs for a few minutes. I'll be back in a few minutes. Just wait here." So yeah, you're just hanging out playing there by yourself for a few minutes, and then he comes back like nothing happened. And you just go back to playing like normal. This is not normal. This is absolutely cold, unheard of, terrible. Absolutely not. I don't want to dunk on Sweden too much because apparently this happens in Germany, and other places in Western/Northern Europe. But this is mainly a Swedish practice from the stories I've read. And if I had to guess why this is, they're like, okay, no, you're not one of the family, so you don't get to eat with the family. Like that's basically why this is. That's the real reason. Like if you're not one of the family, you don't eat with the family. That's the real root gritty reason of all this, bro. But yeah, pettiness is not new to Europe at all. Now this is an entirely other topic I might cover someday, but the Netherlands is pretty famous for this, for their pettiness, and like they'll make everything be split down to like an exact cost. Like every time you go out with someone, everything must be split exactly, proportionally. Like it's crazy. And then there's an app called Tiki where it's like, yeah, your friend will charge you for small favors or food slash drink. Like if you go over to their house and they give you a meal or say a glass of wine, you're gonna get charged for that. They're gonna send you a notification. Your phone is gonna buzz. Like, oh, you're gonna look. Oh, you got charged €5 by your friend for a small glass of wine that you had at their house. And this is a common practice in the Netherlands. This is common. This is not. Maybe what we're talking about with Sweden could be more like rare or like fading out. But no, this what I'm talking about in the Netherlands is a very like common activity. To charge your friends, bro, for small things. Yeah, and if you were to say no to your friend in this situation, they're not going to confront you. Dutch people are not going to be all, like, confrontational. They're just going to be like, okay, well, whatever. And they're not going to be your friend anymore, and that's it. And it wasn't personal. It's not because they're, like, a bad person. This is all cultural. This is cultural. This is their culture. And it is just transactional to them. So there's nothing much you can do about it. You have to comply. Pettiness is not new to Europe. And it being culturally acceptable to make someone wait out on dinner for not being a part of the family does sound like something that would happen. Whenever I had a play date as a kid, we would their other parents would never make me wait out on food. Like they would always either bring something up to us, they would bring us food, or they'd take us out somewhere. Like we're balling out. Right, you know what I'm saying? If I'm a guest, we're balling out. If I have a guest over, we're balling out. And that's how it should be. That's how it is all around the world. It's like, let me read some stories like about this situation. I remember going to my Swedish friend's house, and while we were playing in his room, his mom yelled that dinner was ready. And check this, he told me to wait in his room while they ate. That shit was fucking wild. So this is like this is like the archetype of the story we're talking about here. This is like the archetype. Like, this is there's nothing much special about this story, but this is essentially what we're talking about. Like, they'll just make them wait in the other room while they eat. Crazy. That is crazy. And underneath here we have another story. I'm not sure if this is also from Sweden, but it sounds like it is in the context. I slept over at a friend's house. When we woke up, he said he's going downstairs for a few minutes. After about 15 minutes, I go on the stairs to see what the fuck is happening, and they're eating breakfast. They see me and tell me he's almost done, and we will be upstairs soon. I still think about that shit 25 years later. If you look up this topic online, you're going to find countless numbers of people from all cultures around the world basically being like, WTF, here feeding our guests is not only a regular thing, but a core part of our culture. Like where there's an emphasis on hospitality. Hospitality, that's a nice word. Like, okay, even in America, feeding our guests is important. By the way, excuse the red marks on my face. I'm very badly sunburned. It does happen, says Richard Tillström, a food historian at Stockholm University and author of a book about Swedish food culture in the 19th and 20th centuries. He says this practice was customary when he was a kid in the 60s and 70s. If he was over at a friend's house and it was time for dinner, he would go back to his own house to eat. Or he would stay and wait in another room while his friend finished his meal. Then they continue playing. Type shit. So we got a food historian literally confirming it's happening. And this is from NPR, by the way. The New York Times and NPR both wrote articles about this. I'm sure there's other articles about it too. Yeah. But here's the kicker, bro. Here's what actually inspired me to make this video. I mentioned this to my professor who's from Europe. She's from Poland, but she was living in Europe for many years. So I thought to myself, okay, well, she might have heard of it out of all my professors who were all very American. So I went to my professor and asked her about it. She hasn't heard of it once already. Okay, well, not much you can do there. So I tell her about it. She's very interested. Her curiosity was piqued. So I tell her about it. And she starts going like, you need to check your sources. This is likely fake. Did you get it off social media? Yeah, like social media, you can't trust anything you see on social media. Like, bruh. It's like boomer mentality, like 101. This is people sharing their stories, bro. This is what social media was built for, bro. So people could discover things from other cultures like this. Well, I checked them. So I was saying, like, I wrote in my script. Just loudly saying in front of everybody as they were leaving, this was at the end of class, that I needed to check my sources. Well, I checked them, and they're real, so what now? Anyways. That's all I have to say about this, guys. Honestly, I think that the Swedish people are kind of waking up from this. Like, from what I've read about it, because I did a bit of research in my making of this video, but they're basically, this is a fading out in practice. Like, this behavior is becoming more like aware in Sweden. Like, they're more aware that this is a thing and like it's not acceptable. You know, maybe in time, no, this truly won't be happening anymore. And whatnot. And then maybe the focus then will be on the Netherlands and we could get rid of that ticky app bullshit. Okay? That's really all I have to say for today. That's all I have for this video. The moral of the story here is to feed your guests. Alright, see ya everyone.